Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we got sneak peek number 4 for the Deadpool update, and this is the biggest one we got since update or sneak peek 2 or 1 because it's introducing a brand new character, and with this character comes a lot of speculation about possible team-ups and the remaining members of Deadpool's team. As he says, check this bad boy out, seems like my team just got an upgrade, and it seems pretty bizarre. Deadpool's riding on some sort of dragon egg looking thing. We have the X-Force logo underneath the Marvel Future Fight logo, and then it says totally better than the X-Jet or the Quinjet, and then the best part, it comes with an extra pilot. Now, the size of the ship may be confusing to some of you who haven't read or brushed up on your X-Force stuff in a while. I know it was confusing to me. That ship is actually quite large, or I mean, it can be smaller or bigger, but it is EVA, who is basically intrinsically tied to Fantomex, and this is a really exciting development because now we have a much clearer view and picture for where this update is going to take us and the kind of path that Netmarble is weaving, which does narrow down the possibilities for future characters to be left, to be revealed from the update, because we know so far we've got Domino, Deadpool, of course, Strife, and now we have Fantomex. So let's explain the character, and then we're going to explain who I think could still be coming. And there are a few big names that you guys have been hoping for a long time that are very closely linked to this badass. And I know a lot of you Bamfs out there are just so excited, so let me just get into it. I can't do the character justice, but I'll do my best. So basically, Fantomex comes from the same sort of origins as Wolverine. He was kind of created in a lab. Unlike Wolverine, he didn't have a life outside before he got his kind of powers, but he's half human, half robot. He's kind of like a cyborg. He has 3 brains, and when he kind of became who he was and realized what was going on around him and how he was being used and basically made into a weapon, same as Wolverine, i.e. Weapon X, he turned on his creators, of course, and you know, went on a murderous rampage, as all bad guys turned good guys kind of thing go. As far as his powers are concerned, I've mentioned the 3 brains because he has kind of half cyborg abilities. It does make him a much better fighter. It makes him incredibly good with weapons, and he uses dual pistols a lot to kind of riddle his enemies with bullets. He also does this thing where he kind of creates illusions or some sort of almost like a hallucination. It's kind of reality warping abilities to throw his enemies off and kind of give himself a distraction to attack or to escape. As far as EVA, that yellow kind of ship thing, the way that it connects to Fantomex is that it was actually originally inside of him, yeah, and it's his nervous system. So what that essentially means is if EVA is not around nearby and Fantomex takes damage, gets hit, gets hurt, he doesn't actually feel any pain, because in order to feel pain biologically, if you've been listening to your bio teacher, you need a nervous system and you need nerve endings to send signals to your brain, yada yada yada. So that could mean a lot of things for the character as terms of, or as far as how it's expressed. I don't think EVA is going to be a character, although it or he or she has manifested itself as kind of a human, robot, android form before. It's taken a bunch of different forms. I don't think it's going to be a character. At most, I think it would be a constant summon for Fantomex, which would be pretty cool, and I don't think it's something we've seen before. The robots that fly around Maximus are probably the closest comparison I could make. Alternatively, EVA could be a summon for Fantomex, one of his skills. EVA does have offensive maneuvers, explosives, lasers, stuff like that, but the core of his abilities are going to really match or closely mirror that of speed types. Someone like Black Widow, someone like Winter Soldier, lots of gunplay, lots of jumping around, explosions, bombs, maybe smoke, perhaps fear effects, iframes galore because of, you know, all of the stuff that I've mentioned previously about his kit. He also has this weird kind of self-healing where he can create surgery, or not create, he can meditate I think it's meditation. I'm kind of dumbing it down for you and for me. He basically meditates or enters some kind of trance and heals himself or performs surgery on himself. that could manifest itself as like a passive heal effect, kind of like Mantis, but I don't expect him to be a super tanky character. I expect him to do lots of damage, be flashy, and have lots of iframes, and probably be a speed type with some guaranteed dodge or ignore dodge, or both. So that is what we can expect from that character, Fantomex. Very cool guy, and I have almost no doubt that his abilities are going to look amazing. But now that we know we're getting Fantomex, now that we've seen this take a little bit more shape, I want to throw up this X-Force photo that I mentioned to you guys originally when we were talking about the Strife intro in sneak peek number 2, and how this relates to 2 events that the X-Men went through kind of back to back. There's the Messiah War, and then there's X-Men Second Coming. And if you haven't read those 2 events, you should probably do that if you want to have as much information as possible for all of these characters, because all of the characters that we've announced so far, plus a whole bunch of other ones that could be announced, and here's where my speculation comes in, are all tied to this event. Now, the event does circle around, it does kind of revolve around Cable and Hope Summers, the kind of adopted daughter of Cable, who's not actually related to Cable. I know, guys, I know. So there is the possibility, however small, that we would be getting Hope Summers. I doubt it, I honestly really do, but just for accuracy's sake, they are technically the main protagonists of the story. Even though we're seeing Strife as the antagonist, there are other antagonists that we get. We get Bishop as a big antagonist as well, trying to kill Cable, which is really cool, so we could see Bishop, and we get a whole bunch of other characters, Nimrod, stuff like that, who probably won't come into the game now, if at all, but do play a part in that series. But essentially what happens in the Messiah War, Messiah is kind of the code, or the word that they're using for Hope, because she's supposed to breathe new life into kind of the dying mutant race, and Cable's there to protect her, and Bishop and Strife are there to kill her. Bishop has a hard time killing her, so he enlists the help of Strife, who we know is Cable's evil clone brother, like Bart's brother up in the attic, and then things kind of devolve from there. Eventually we move into X-Men Second Coming. I'm skipping a lot here just to kind of shorten it for you guys, because Fantomex isn't actually in that part. The X-Men Messiah War does include Domino, Deadpool, Cable, Strife. It also includes Wolverine with the gray uniform. It includes X-23 with the gray uniform. It includes Archangel as well, and Apocalypse, and a bunch of other characters, even Warpath. But it doesn't include Fantomex. But then when we move into X-Men Second Coming, the X-Force is sent into the future where Cable is with Hope to try and save them. And when we go back to San Francisco, we get a really cool fight scene on a bridge, I believe. I believe it's the Golden Gate Bridge. And Fantomex is there, and he's helping the X-Men out. And that is where we get some of the other potential characters. Most notably, I don't want to name them all, but the most notable ones that could link the Messiah War kind of characters we've gotten so far, which are all heavily inspired by Messiah War, I'm assuming, and then the X-Men Second Coming, where we get Fantomex, are Iceman, yep, Psylocke, Namor, and then I've already mentioned Hope Summers. But Fantomex is the one we have, and hopefully Psylocke and Iceman and possibly Namor could be coming down the pipeline in future sneak peeks. I think the most likely character to come now that we've seen Fantomex is Psylocke, because they have had a pretty hot and heavy relationship, on again, off again kind of thing. Psylocke also had at the same time a thing with Archangel, where he was kind of a bad guy. He was a bad guy. So we could also definitely see that uniform for Archangel, as I've already mentioned, the ones for Wolverine and the gray kind of badass X-Force uniforms. So that is also a possibility, but man, Psylocke would be amazing. I'm not even going to start my hope engine for Iceman because I've disappointed myself so many times, but I do want to pass that on to you guys. I do want to get a little bit of a drum roll going for Psylocke, because that would be amazing, and I know so many of you out there would really love that. So those are my speculations on what the future sneak peeks might hold. We still have about a week's worth of waiting to do before the update minimum, so we should expect at least one more sneak peek before the patch notes. I'm super excited. Let me know how you guys are, how you feel, what you think. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.